Hi, hello everyone. Welcome back to Empower Tutorials. This is your master teacher, Dr. Sonam. Yes, guys, how's everyone doing? So, what are we studying currently? Yes, we're talking about plant physiology. We have already had 2 sessions on plant physiology. So today we'll be continuing with our third session. So let's see what the third session has in store for us. Now, in our previous classes, guys, we've discussed about all the basic terminologies, right? We've seen the functions of roots. We've seen the importance of roots. We've seen all different procedures that takes place for the transport, okay, right, of the water, of the minerals, of the nutrients. Then we've seen processes like osmosis, diffusion, what is active transport, how the cells consume ATP, how the cells consume energy. Then we have seen terms like turgidity, flaccidity. We've seen about plasmolysis. Okay, yes. So we have dealt with all the basic terms that are needed to make the base for our third session, that is today. Okay, so this will be probably the final session of this chapter of plant physiology about absorption of roots. So yes, guys, let's continue. Let's go ahead. Okay. Now, before we move on to today's lecture, there was one activity question that I gave you all in the last class. Salting of meat is a method of killing bacteria by the process of dash. So now all the options that are given to you, okay, that is plasmolysis, deplasmolysis, turgor pressure, okay. So all these terms we have studied, right? Now we saw there were 2 terms, that is turgor pressure and cell wall pressure. Then we also saw something related to tonicity, right? We've studied things related to tonicity. In that we saw about 3 different solutions: isotonic solution, hypotonic, and hypertonic, correct? Then what was plasmolysis? Plasmolysis was shrinkage of the cell cytoplasm away from the cell wall. ठीक है? अभी salting of meat में exactly क्या होता है? What we do, firstly, why do we use salt? Now, just like we do salting of meat, okay, it is like, say we are marinating the meat and keeping it with salt and all. So we do the similar things with things like pickles. Correct, हम preserve करते हैं pickles को for a long time. So we put a lot of salt into it so that ज़्यादा लंबा चले. Right? So these things like sugar, things like salt, these things are used as preservatives. Now, why they are used as preservatives? Because salting is important because it is going to create a hypertonic solution. Correct. Now, when we have salted the meat, there is going to be a hypertonic solution that is created. Correct. Now, to balance the pH or say to balance the acidity, what happens is the cell cytoplasm starts to shrink. Now, what is the cell here? It is going to be a living cell of the meat that we have salted. ठीक है? तो उसमें क्या होने वाला है? There will be shrinkage of the cell cytoplasm. Shrinkage of the cell cytoplasm हो रहा है मतलब plasmolysis हो रहा है. ठीक है? तो answer to our question is plasmolysis. But now when we are talking about salting of meat and when we are talking about a hypertonic solution, so hypertonic solution में exactly क्या होता है? Because cytoplasm shrink हो रहा है, right? And it's a hypertonic solution. All the bacteria and the viruses which are going to be inside are not really going to get what they need to feed upon and to stay alive. Correct. वहां का उधर का जो solution होगा, that is going to become so concentrated, right? We've seen this in hypertonic solutions. What happens is the outside solution is very concentrated. Now, because of that being so concentrated and also because of adding a preservative like salt and making the solution more hypertonic, the bacteria and the viruses completely get killed. Okay, so that is why we say that salting of meat is a method of killing the bacteria. Keep this in mind that it is because salt forms a hypertonic solution and the bacteria cannot survive in that environment. And another thing that happens is the cytoplasm starts to shrink. Okay. Now you must have seen, just observe this next time when you are salting the meat. Otherwise, when you keep it, it feels watery. Okay. Later on, post salting of meat, you will feel, you'll feel it a little dry kind of. Now, dry is in terms of shrinkage of cytoplasm that I'm trying to explain you. Okay. Just observe this next time and keep this in mind. So kids, the answer to our question is plasmolysis. Yes, many of you all have definitely given me the answer in the comments. So yes, keep a steady, keep looking or hearing the lectures steadily, constantly, so you don't lose out on any specific topics that we are covering in all the sessions. Okay, kids? Yes, chalo, let's go ahead. Okay, now we are beginning the day with the today's fresh class, and we'll be seeing this. The struggle you're in today is developing the strength you need for tomorrow, right? Now, today you might be definitely facing all kind of, everybody, all of us face some struggles in everything that we do in life, but never mind. Don't lose hope with that. Don't lose faith in anything. That struggle that you're doing today is only going to make you stronger. It's only going to give you a lot of strength to face all the struggles in your upcoming future ahead. Okay, so even if you're facing any struggles today, don't lose hope. Keep at it, keep going, and you are definitely going to succeed. And these struggles are stepping stones to success, right? So you all are definitely going to reach to a very successful point when you face these struggles. So don't lose. Okay, kids, let's go ahead. Okay, now today, very important terminology that we are going to study is the ascent of sap. Okay, now what is ascent? Firstly, the meaning of the word ascent is movement upwards. Okay, ascent, as the name says, it means movement upwards. Okay, now what is happening here is, look at this. What can you make out from this picture? Tell me, what can you make out from this picture is happening in the ascent of sap? Stem है, ठीक है, बाहर leaves है, ये पूरा column है, tree का, plant का, whatever you can call it. This is towards the root, then it is saying from root, then it is saying stem, then it is showing the leaf, and then it is showing water is lost through transpiration. Correct? So what do you make out of this? Don't you think the water is moving upwards? Correct? अब main source water का कहाँ से आ रहा है plant को? From the roots. मतलब water is here down somewhere. ठीक है? From the roots are going to absorb the water. तो ये water का movement हो रहा है यहाँ, right? So that is exactly what is ascent of sap. ठीक है? So ascent of sap is the upward movement of water from roots to the aerial parts of the plant body. Okay, as simple as it is, ascent of sap is movement of the water upwards from the roots. Okay, so going ahead, what are the different forces driving the ascent of sap? अच्छा, अभी roots में नीचे पानी है, पानी अपने आप ऊपर चढ़ेगा क्या plant में? Yes, is that possible? Is the water just going to start climbing upwards in the plant? No, right? Now there are going to be need of some forces down near the roots, which is going to push the water upwards. Correct? So yes, there are those kind of 3-4 types of forces that will help that water column to move upwards towards the aerial parts of the plant. Okay. So let's see what those forces are. Okay, to begin with, osmosis. We have studied a lot in detail about osmosis. Once again, giving you a basic importance of osmosis. There is going to be a semi-permeable membrane, and only then the water is going to move from different concentrations. Okay, water is going to move through the semi-permeable membrane. Now, osmosis is going to push that water upwards. That osmosis pressure is going to push the water upwards. Okay, same thing is with the root pressure. Correct? Root pressure ki wajah se there's going to be a lot of pressure which is going to be created, and because of that pressure it is going to drive the water upwards. Next thing is capillary action. Now what is capillary action? Capillary as we know is a very small thin tube. Capillary action say water starts forming that column and starts moving upwards from that thin column. From that thin, say you can say a capillary, like now stem ko hum will not call the stem as a capillary, but while the water is moving through the stem, it is moving through the capillary action. Okay. Yes. Now we are coming across these two new terms. These two terms I'm sure we have studied past classes also, in past maybe another different topics. But for us today in plant physiology, we are coming up with these new two terms, adhesion and cohesion. Okay. Yes. Now, what is adhesion and cohesion? Can anyone give me an idea what is adhesion and cohesion? It is nothing but forces of attraction. Okay. But what is the difference between these two forces? Yes. What is the difference in these two forces? Okay. Now, let me tell you the difference in these two forces is that adhesion is the force of attraction that happens between same or similar molecules. Okay? And cohesion is the force of attraction that happens in different molecules. Okay? Now, I'll just give you an example. If you keep a water droplet on say a table or just anywhere, if there is a water droplet, okay, it just falls off from somewhere, there is a water droplet, uske thode distance pe ek aur water droplet hai, theek hai. So slowly within some few seconds or few minutes you will see that those two drops have combined. अब वो क्यों हो रहा है? Because same thing is going to happen with oil, same thing is going to happen with any kind of molecules that are same or similar. Now that is happening because of the force of attraction. ठीक है? Because it is similar molecules. ठीक है? It is coming and combining and forming one. Now if you keep oil and if you keep water, उन दोनों के बीच में जो force of attraction होगा, that will be cohesion. Now they are not going to come and join. Okay, but I'm just giving you for example because they are going to be two different molecules. Okay, so उन दोनों के बीच में जो force होगा, that will be force of cohesion. ठीक है? Now base से लेके ऊपर तक पानी जा रहा है, right? From the roots till the stem, that water is going up. So it is using these forces of adhesion and cohesion because one water droplet combining with the other water droplet is the force of adhesion, like I told you. So ऐसा करते 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 करते, then this water is also having some kind of force of attraction with the parts around, with the cell walls, or say with the walls of the stem, or with other different solutes, nutrients that are coming in contact and which are going upwards in the ascent of sap. So यही adhesion and cohesion का force use करके this water will form its column and start moving upwards. Correct? Now drop by drop by drop by drop पानी एक दूसरे के साथ combine होते जाएगा तो water column बनेगा, है ना? So ये water column slowly starts taking the ascent. Okay, that is nothing but the ascent of sap. जो water column form होता है right from the roots till the aerial parts of the plant. Okay, are we clear with what is adhesion and cohesion? Yes. Going forward, transpiration pull. Now we have seen what transpiration is. In a gist, we know what transpiration is. It is the loss of water in the form of vapor. So that transpiration pull, अब पानी जब पहुंच जाता है almost in the aerial parts of the plant, say the leaves and all, so वहां पे जो pull होता है वो water का, to pull the water outside, that is the transpiration pull. Okay, keep in mind these 5 factors. These are the forces which help the ascent of sap. Okay, so as you can see in the picture here, ये यहाँ नीचे of course जो होगा, that is going to be the root pressure, right? Then ये water column, like you can see here, ठीक है? Water column में जो forces दिख रहे हैं, that is going to be the force of adhesion and cohesion. And ऊपर aerial parts of the plant में जो होगा, those will be the transpiration pull forces. Okay, same thing is here. Now see, basically ये forces का कोई order नहीं है. ठीक है, any force can give pressure to ascent of sap, and कोई भी एक force की वजह से वो ascent of sap start हो सकता है. There is no sequence to it कि you start from osmosis or you start from transpiration. There is no as such sequence. But if you see, when we are talking about something known as ascent of sap, जो ascent हो रहा है नीचे से ऊपर की तरफ जा रहा है, तो it is easier for you. I mean, I would recommend that, and it is generally recommended everywhere that you, whenever you keep in mind, you start from below. नीचे से start करोगे, the forces go hand in hand. पहले osmosis होगा, then roots में पानी आएगा, इसीलिए root pressure होगा, then water को हमको ऊपर चढ़ाना है, इसीलिए capillary action होगा, then वो पूरा column ऊपर चढ़ेगा. Now ascent of sap, these kind of factors you usually see in the tallest of trees. करेक्ट, इतना बड़ा उसका स्टेम होता है, बार्क होता है, तो इतना एसेंट ऑफ सैप होना इम्पोर्टेंट है फॉर दैट वाटर कॉलम टू रीच ऑल द एरियल पार्ट्स ऑफ द प्लांट. करेक्ट, तो वो इतना बड़ा वाटर कॉलम बनाने के लिए वी नीड adhesion and cohesion, and then finally when the water has reached the aerial parts of the plant, then we need the transpiration force. करेक्ट, तो generally recommended रहता है that you keep in mind from osmosis, but either ways doesn't really matter. Just keep in mind कि ये 5 forces है. Okay, going ahead. Same thing, we have some pictures. Here water is getting absorbed. यहाँ पे ऊपर चढ़ने के लिए there is capillary action, and then finally when water is reaching the leaf, there is the water getting evaporated. That is nothing but transpiration. Okay, this is in a small example about the root pressure. Okay. Okay, entry of water in the root hair cells. Okay, अब पानी जो है रूट के अंदर एंटर तो कर लिया, रूट हेयर के अंदर एंटर तो कर लिया. We have seen the structure of the root hair in the last session. We have seen that these are these 3 say modifications that we have. There is a root hair, then it has a large vacuole and it has a thin permeable cell wall for it to absorb more water. So अब ये जो एंट्री हो रहा है वाटर का वो किस बेसिस पे हो रहा है एंड कैसे हो रहा है, how the water is traveling, okay, that we are going to see now. Okay, so let's see. Now see, this is the structure of the root hair, ठीक है. Then all these brown things that you see here, ये जो दिख रहा है आसपास रूट हेयर के, these are going to be the soil particles, ठीक है. ये जो वैक्यूल है, ये वाला ये पार्ट रहेगा वैक्यूल और ये है रूट हेयर. मतलब दिस इज द वैक्यूल ऑफ द रूट हेयर. ये साइड में सेल वॉल है रूट हेयर का एंड अंदर साइटोप्लाज्म है रफली एज यूजुअल. These brown things that you see are the soil particles and आसपास whatever that you see is the liquid or water, whatever it is. So now number 1 is named as labeling जो किया है वो रूट हेयर को किया है, ठीक है. एंड नंबर 2 जो लेबलिंग किया है वो लिक्विड को किया है which is present around the soil particles. Okay. Now let's see what does this explain and let's just put it in mind. It's a very basic thing. ये otherwise explain करने जाओगे तो आप अपने word में भी explain कर सकते हो. But then to actually put it in the form of an answer, you can keep it in mind like this. What I'm going to show you currently is going to be 2 images where we have some 5 labelings, and labeling by labeling we are describing what that part is and how the entry of water is taking place. ठीक है. Now entry of water and entry of minerals is going to be an important question that you need to keep in mind. जरूरी नहीं है as it is लिखो, just keep in mind the process कैसे हो रहा है, and ये diagram and labeling if you keep in mind side by side will be easy for you to remember. ठीक है. Okay, chalo, let's go ahead. So what does this say? Each root hair is a fine tubular outgrowth of an epidermal cell. We have seen this. It grows between the soil particles, coming into close contact with the water surrounding them. Correct? Now root hair का function ही ये है that it has to absorb water from its surrounding wherever it finds water. So obviously it is growing in close contact हर soil particles के बीच में so that वो वहाँ से water absorb कर सके. Going ahead, now second labeling. Okay, we are coming to the liquid now. The thin film of liquid surrounding each soil particle is a dilute solution of mineral salts. ठीक है? That liquid which is there is not only water. It has all nutrients, all solutes, all kind of mineral salts, everything. ठीक है? Okay, so these are 2 things. सबसे पहले there is a liquid and then we have studied about the root hair. Okay, अभी देखते हैं आगे. Okay, third thing is, okay, third labeling कहाँ है? Okay, the third labeling is here. Now what this is talking about? It is talking about the sap. Okay, now the solute that is going to enter inside. So what does this say? The sap in the root hair cell is a relatively concentrated solution of sugars and various salts. ठीक है? Thus, the sap has a lower water potential than the soil solution. ठीक है? अंदर जो water potential है that is less, and outside there is a greater soil solution. These 2 solutions are separated by the partially permeable cell surface membrane of the root hair cell. अभी देखो, what is this trying to say is, root hair के अंदर जो sap है, ठीक है, उसका water potential is less. That means you can say it is less concentrated. ठीक है, and बाहर जो है उसका concentration is more. This is what it is saying. बाहर का जो concentration है that is more. अंदर के रूट हेयर अंदर के सैप का कंसंट्रेशन इज लेस, वाटर पोटेंशियल इज लेस, एंड मेम्ब्रेन हमने देखा है, ठीक है, रूट हेयर का भी थिन मेम्ब्रेन होता है, एंड बाहर in the form of soil particles which is what are present over there, that also kind of forms a membrane. Now that is a selectively permeable membrane that we have seen in osmosis. So that is how water is traveling from a higher concentration towards the inner side of the root hair towards the lower concentration via a semi-permeable membrane. That is why we say that water enters the root hair by osmosis. Okay guys, is this clear? Yes. Going ahead, fourth labeling kahan hai? Okay, fourth labeling is here. Now what are we talking about? Here I'm reading this. The entry of water dilutes the sap. Of course, अंदर already कम है, बाहर से और पानी आ रहा है, तो अंदर का जो sap है that is going to get completely diluted. अंदर के जो salt, sugars, everything, whatever is there is going to get diluted because more and more water is entering via osmosis. The sap of the root hair cell now has a higher water potential than that of the next cell. अभी देखो, यहाँ पे ये सब cells हैं, ठीक है? ये ए हमारा रूट हेयर है, समझ लो, ठीक है? ये एक पार्ट है सेल का, इसके पीछे रूट हेयर सेल्स के रूट हेयर सेल्स की लाइन है BCDE। अभी स्टार्टिंग विद द फर्स्ट वन, पहले हमारा फर्स्ट रूट हेयर सेल भी डाइल्यूट सोल्यूशन था, ठीक है, बाहर ज्यादा कॉन्सेंट्रेटेड था, तो ऑस्मोसिस से पानी अंदर आ गया रूट हेयर सेल ए के, ठीक है। नाउ A has become more concentrated and B is dilute. So now same process will take place from A to B, then B to C, then C to D. So every succeeding cell, okay, every succeeding cell, that means the later wala cell, every succeeding cell will be having a dilute solution as compared to its preceding cell, ठीक है। तो ये same process osmosis का continue होगा and cell by cell water will keep entering the different cells. That is how it is forming a water column. Next, fifth वाला labeling क्या है? Okay. Similarly, water passes from the B cell into the next cell, that is the cell C of the cortex. This process continues until the water enters the xylem vessels and moves up the plant. देखो, ये पूरा आसपास soil particles, okay, that we are calling the cortex. ये root hair है, इसके पीछे root hair cells है सारे, and here you have the xylem vessel. तो एक बार पानी xylem vessel में पहुंच गया, then from xylem vessel there are all the other different forces that we have studied that are going to help drive the ascent of sap. Okay guys, are we clear with this entry of water thing? How osmosis is happening? बाहर solution कैसा है, अंदर कैसा है, root hair के अंदर क्या है, membrane कौन सी है, and how it is getting transferred from one cell to the other. We have seen that. Are we clear with that? Yes guys, post this also, if you all feel you all have any doubts or anything, you all can just just come up with a comment in the video section and I will be explaining you all in detail about it again. Okay, so now we'll see the next part. So now we are going to see the entry of minerals. ठीक है, जैसे water enter हो रहा है वैसे ही minerals भी enter होने वाले हैं, correct? Now minerals में there are two types of ions, or say two types of different ions that are a part of the minerals. Those two type of ions, one are going to be positively charged, that are known as the cations, okay, and the other ones which are negatively charged are known as the anions. ठीक है, तो cations and anions का entry होने वाला है ion particles का through the minerals. Now how it is going to happen? Okay, so first thing, always remember, whenever there is going to be entry of minerals, same thing is going to happen. It is going to enter via the root hair cell only. सेम थिंग है, देखो यहाँ पे ये सेल दिखाया है, ये वैक्यूल, ये रूट है, साइड में सॉइल पार्टिकल्स है, जैसे वाटर एंटर हो रहा है वैसे ही मिनरल्स भी अंदर एब्सॉर्ब होने वाले हैं. बट वन थिंग दैट यू हैव टू कीप इन माइंड हियर इन द एंट्री ऑफ मिनरल्स इज दैट there is not going to be osmosis and all that is going to happen here in terms of minerals. Most important thing that is going to happen here in the entry of minerals is the active transport. Okay, remember active transport when we were studying the basic terminology, मैंने आपको कौन सा एग्जांपल दिया था? साइकिल का. okay, ऊपर स्लोप से नीचे आने के लिए हम एक्सेलरेटर भी बंद कर देते हैं गाड़ी का, गाड़ी भी बंद कर देते हैं, साइकिल को भी पेडलिंग नहीं करते, हम ऐसे ही इजीली स्लोप से नीचे उतर जाते हैं because it has that slope. We don't require any kind of energy. But when it is the reverse way around, जब नीचे से ऊपर हमको चढ़ना होता है, when we have to climb that steep slope, that time we need a lot of energy. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे भी वही चीज होने वाली है. लो कॉन्सेंट्रेशन से जब वो हाई कॉन्सेंट्रेशन की तरफ the minerals or the ions are going to enter, so it is going to require a lot of energy. ठीक है, so this energy is going to be received by those minerals and ions in the form of ATP from the cells. Okay, this energy, that is the ATP from the cells, these minerals are going to use up, and there is going to be the entry and the movement of these minerals. Okay, what happens is, because see water entry का तो we have seen all the different kinds of routes are there, osmosis help करेगा और बाकी चीजें help करेगी, but when we are talking about the minerals, okay, they are going to require energy, and when they are going to have that energy, what happens is it is an active uptake of energy. ठीक है, as they move they will start consuming that energy. जैसे जैसे वो ज्यादा energy consume करते हैं, minerals का concentration बढ़ जाता है. Okay, so the minerals get concentrated in a way that उनका quantity बढ़ जाता है, because as they start receiving energy, उनका बहुत quick entry होते रहता है into the plant. Okay, so that is how it happens. Now keep in mind, when you are talking about minerals, there are positively charged ions, that are the cations, negatively charged are the anions. Okay, And this entry is going to happen via the active transport. That is, these minerals will not move without energy. Yes, these ions will not move, and because these ions are not going to move, minerals are not going to enter. So unko ye ATP chahiye, and they actively uptake this ATP for entry into the root hair cell. Okay guys, are we clear with this? Okay. Yes. Coming to another important thing that is called as guttation. ठीक है, अभी water lose हो रहा है, ठीक है. We have seen transpiration. Basic क्या है? Transpiration is the loss of water. Same thing, guttation is also the loss of water. ठीक है. Difference क्या है? Transpiration is the loss of water in the form of vapor, correct? But guttation is the loss of water in the form of liquid droplets. ठीक है. अब what is happening? You must have seen बहुत बार late nights को the leaves of the trees or say plants are watery. You will see small ऐसा pearl like water droplets on the leaves. Side पे margin पे दिखेंगे. बहुत बार late night दिखते हैं. बहुत बार you will see them early in the morning. It's not dew, okay guys. बहुत of you kids, many of you kids, you do this confusion. Water droplet अगर कोई सुबह को दिख रहा है तो it is dew. It is not dew. Okay, we are not talking about dew here. It is something known as guttation. What is happening is, बहुत सारा जब पानी ऊपर फ्लो हो जाता है ना, when there is excess intake of water via the roots and it is reaching the aerial parts of the plant, water in excess that the plant does not require, the plant will be, pushing it out of itself via the leaves. So ये जो excess water push होता है, see when it is in the form of vapor, we are calling it transpiration. So similarly, when this excess water is thrown out of the plant in the form of liquid droplets, then we are calling it that process as guttation. ठीक है? अब ये कहाँ होता है? It is the loss of water in the form of liquid droplets from HYDATHODES on the leaf margins. ठीक है? Leaf margins पे there are going to be these small structures which are known as the HYDATHODES, and वहां से वो water droplets बाहर निकलने वाले हैं, वहां से वो excess पानी बाहर निकलने वाला है. Okay, they, you will see, as you can see in this picture here, no, these are water droplets. ठीक है? So they'll appear like small pearly structures. Okay, so when you see this small pearly appearance of water droplets, know that ये पानी जहां से बाहर आ रहा है, those structures are known as the HYDATHODES, and this entire process of pushing out the excess water in the form of liquid is known as guttation. Okay guys, are we clear with this? ठीक है? Loss of water in the form of liquid is known as HYDATHODES. Okay. So yes guys, we have completed and come towards the end of plant physiology. We've studied about the absorption of roots. We've seen all different terminologies, how the water is entering the roots, कैसे roots से वो water column बना के with the help of many different forces it is reaching the aerial parts of the plant. And post this पूरा प्रोसेस होने के बाद the excess water which the plant does not require, वो जब वो बाहर push करता है, in those two phenomena, there are two phenomena, one is transpiration and one is guttation. ठीक है? Transpiration is in the form of vapor, guttation is in the form of liquid droplets. Okay, so this is just in a gist what we have seen in plant physiology. It is an important chapter from point of view of answers as well as all kind of MCQs. So do go through all the definitions that we have studied. It's really important. And as I told you, entry of water and minerals, अगर diagram को side में रख के answer learn करने की कोशिश करोगे, it will become more easy for you. Okay guys, chalo, I'll take your leave. Let me know if you all have any doubts. Put them in the comment section. Also, if there are any specific topics that you want me to come up with, do let me know, and we'll get back shortly with those topics as well. Okay, so yes, if you like our videos, do like and subscribe the channel. We will keep you posted with all the different topics that we are covering in biology. Okay, chalo, I will take your leave. Bye bye.